Thank you for coming. You're a lot. So let's just dive right into it. I can actually see your future, and I can tell you it's actually great for the next 40 minutes or so. So I'm going to give you the horoscope of the day. First, let's get acquainted, because I really wanted to have to say that word somehow. It was too easy otherwise. Then we'll do a little bit of history, because why not? But just a little bit. Then maybe I will tell you what actually is imposter syndrome. At this rate, why not, you know? Then we'll go into the practical bit. I'm afraid the title was a bit clickbait. That's not the main part of the talk. You'll see. And then maybe one of you will have a comment to make. If you have questions, that's better, but I'll take whatever you have. And then I have sources. I promise I did not just make that up. So, I mean, yeah, it will make sense. That's me. No, that's me. I'm Marine. Nice to meet you. I'm very happy to be here. I have a literary background. I'm sure you can tell that's relevant, but if you don't see why, we'll get into that. I have a degree in English language, by the way, so I'm glad to actually talk for once. I switched to web development when I was 25, so that's quite recent. So now I have 7 years of experience as a PHP and Drupal developer. And I am the current president of the French Drupal Association because, you know, I like challenges. I've been working remotely for 3 years, so before COVID, it was a choice that made it easier. What was not easy was working in teams with everybody in one office and me at home. And that has an impact on what the topic is today. And I do love many things outside of work. I sing in a band, I have role-playing night every week, many stuff that don't leave me a lot of time to do like PHP every morning, and you know, I have other stuff to do. So why do I tell you all this? Because you don't really care about me, I think. But it has an impact on how I feel at work. All these elements, they change my perception of what I do every day, and it changes how the team feels about me, and we'll see how later. But for now, a little bit of history. So I thought, why not make a deep quote just to introduce the subject, because, you know, history. It all began in 1978 with 2 psychologists. So Dr. Clance, which is the most famous one of the 2, and Dr. Imes. And they started this study, the imposter phenomenon in high-achieving women, dynamics and therapeutic intervention. And they talked with 100 women that were very successful in their respective fields. I think one of them had 2 theses. She was like double PhD. And they noticed what they called the imposter phenomenon or imposter syndrome. And at first, they really thought it was only a woman issue because, I don't know, it was just how they noticed this pattern going on with women in their clientele and maybe not as much with men. But since then, we have actually had way more research done on the topic, and it turns out it's a feeling that is equally distributed among the population. So it's not only women, although women maybe talk a little more about it. The way we feel it is different, obviously, But yeah, everybody actually suffers from it. And when I say everybody, it's like 70% of humanity experiences this feeling at one point in their life. So it is very common, so common, in fact, that they decided to drop the syndrome part of the name because it made it feel like a disease or something that was not right. And it's actually very normal. It's just a human experience. So now, even Dr. Clance, who's still working on that subject to this day, she calls it the imposter phenomenon or experience. And I think we should start using that term too, because there's really nothing wrong with you if you experience that. So you're going to tell me, yeah, okay, 70% of everybody, blah, blah. But I mean, in tech, everybody has imposter syndrome, right? We do have it more than other people. There's no real reliable study on this yet, so I cannot tell you yes, poor us, we suffer from it way more. But I mean, there are patterns and explanations, some factors that make it logical that we would suffer from it more in our field of work. Our field is very wide. I mean, you cannot know everything about tech or even web. I mean, I know there are full stack developers, but you cannot be an expert in everything. So we have to pick our battles, and there are new tech, new frameworks, new tools, updates every day. So even if I was an expert in, say, Drupal 7, then Drupal 8 comes around and it's completely different, and I'm a junior again. I have to learn everything again. So, of course, you still have your experience and you will never start from zero, but sometimes you realize, well, I have to start all over again. I don't have that expertise that I used to have, and the tools, they're just evolving whether I can follow or not. So, I mean, of course, it's harder to keep up. And when you are constantly reminded that, hey, you're a newbie in that subject or you don't know shit about that one, it's hard to feel like you're confident and you belong there. So, of course, it's harder in tech for these reasons. So famous, in fact, that you have even a PhD comics about it. I'm sure a lot of you know these comics. Yeah, I think it just says it all. Once you start talking about it, you realize everybody's like, oh, it has a name? Yeah, I feel that too. Oh, I'm not alone, I'm not crazy? Wow, amazing. And if everybody feels like they don't belong, maybe there's something we can do as a team to feel better about it. So, yeah, okay, cool. But what is it? I mean, I haven't even told you any kind of definition yet, right? So let's do that. It's kind of like let's say it's like, okay, listen, it's like the fear of failure, right? That's easy to say. It's really related to that feeling, but it does not stop there. We need our good friend Wikipedia, because they have the way to just phrase it. It was so perfect, I used it. So it's when you doubt your skills, you doubt your work, and you always fear like someone is going to discover that you are indeed an imposter or a fraud, and that you don't belong here and it was just an illusion. But what's really specific about it is there are a lot of external evidence that you are indeed good at what you do. Usually, you have recognition from your peers, you have awards or a high-ranking position, and you still feel it as though, you know, you've never done any work, you don't deserve it, it was just luck or something. But there are objective facts that you can rely on, like the lady with her 2 PhDs. I mean, she got them, right? But she still feels as if it was just people being nice to her, or she was lucky that day and she had an easier subject or something. And they always think they are cheating and they are deceiving others, even though they don't want to, but you know, they want to keep their job. So it's hard because you feel like you're cheating and you're not honest with your coworkers, and at the same time, they don't see a problem with it, so you feel even more guilty. So that's imposter syndrome. It's not just any doubt that you feel. Oh, sorry, went too fast with this one. So here I want to make a little digression, because this is something that I've never seen on all the videos and articles and stuff that I read about it. And to me, it makes sense. So I will share with you the way I understand it. There's this way that we think that our brain operates, and it's called the fundamental attribution error. So it's when you have this tendency to see a behavior, and from that behavior, you infer qualities of the person, like personal qualities. And so you feel like, oh, okay, this person behaves that way, so it means that they have this trait and this type of character. And you don't see that maybe there are external causes that created this behavior. So there's an example right there. I'm sorry, it's taken from a French video, and I'm not sure that they have English subtitles, but if you do speak French and you don't know this YouTube channel, please go and see it. It's very interesting, and they have lots of very well documented stuff about psychology and reliable sources. So I shamelessly took a screenshot from their videos, and I never found such a quality video in English, so sorry. So you see this scene, and usually you will think, well, that guy is being very aggressive, is pushing the other guy on the road, he's attacking him, so, you know, he's a bad guy. And the poor guy with his necktie, and he was just coming home from work or whatever, and the other guy just attacked him, and you don't know why. So that's what you would just conclude from that situation. And that's exactly what the fundamental attribution error is, because you look at that and you want to find something in this situation about the character of the person. But if you look closely, you will see there's a car and it's not stopping. So our bad guy was actually trying to save the life of the other guy by pushing him, yes, very hard, but very fast, out of the way of the moving car. So now that you see the context and, you know, the external causes that explain that behavior, then you realize maybe it's not about some personal quality of the guy, it's just about the situation. And if you think about it, it's very easy for our brains to jump to that type of conclusion, because that's just how we are wired. And if someone is late, you might think, oh, they don't care about this meeting, blah, blah, blah. And maybe it's just, you know, the child was sick and they had to find a nanny at last minute and they couldn't do it earlier. It's just, we tend to judge others more harshly than we judge ourselves, because we know ourselves, so we know we are justified, we have good reasons, there were external situations, blah, blah, blah. But we don't see it for the others. And so that's this bias that we must fight against. Well, I feel like imposter phenomenon is actually the complete opposite. We overestimate external explanations to our success, like, oh, I was lucky, or the teacher likes me, so he went easier on me on that exam, or yeah, I applied at the right time, but I mean, I was not that good, but they had only me, so they took me. And you underestimate internal explanations about your own qualities and the things that you actually do right. And you're maybe just a really good fit for that team and your work is fine and they don't expect anything more from you. So you see, with that explanation, I think it makes a lot of sense as to why we feel so bad about it, because it's just the opposite of how we usually work. So, that being said, not everything is imposter syndrome, and I want to spend a few minutes on that, because I am getting really fed up with all the usual bullshit, imposter syndrome, blah, blah, blah. No, sometimes it's just a bad context. This comic was released on the 14th, and I saw it and I was like, I have to put it somewhere, I don't care. So I will give you time to read the first part. Well, okay, sometimes you may actually suck. Okay. Maybe you're a real imposter, but that's not the main case, okay? What usually happens is a bad work environment. So it's just normal to feel bad if people treat you bad. It's normal to have doubts. Having doubts is healthy. If you're just in any underrepresented group, you will know what I mean. Yeah, when I'm the only woman in a team, I tend to feel a little insecure because I'm not sure if I belong there. And it's just plain logic, you know? And if you are just different and you feel like you may not fit in because the rest of the group looks nothing like you, well, you will wonder, do I belong here? And it's normal, you know? It has nothing to do with imposter syndrome. It's just the group effect of being different from everybody else. And yeah, it's up to your team and you to build that relationship where you feel like you do belong. If there's this fancy new tech, like I was saying, maybe there's a new tool and you have to work with it, but you've never used it, and so you're feeling doubts, like, can I learn it? Will I be able to do a good job with it? You don't know. You have colleagues, there are just famous people, and they have a ton of experience, and you're like, ooh, what am I doing here? Why do I bring to the table like anything compared to these people? But I mean, everybody feels like that. If you're switching careers, like I said earlier, I had my degree in English and I was like, nah, I'm not going to be a teacher, no. So what can I do? And so I switched at 25. It was not easy. And I did not have much time. I couldn't do like 5 years degrees on the subject. I had to rush and get a very basic technical basis and start working. And it worked. But of course, when I see people with engineer titles and they have all this tech knowledge that I don't have, I wonder. If you're starting, that's the same problem, right? You're changing job. Yeah, this is normal. This is not you. It's just normal. It's the context. And oh no, I'm sorry. We have come to this time, and I must ask you to contribute to this presentation. I'm sorry. So I think it's interesting because there are a lot of you, and I want to know, actually, do we have the 70% number here in this room? Does it translate in real life? So I will ask you questions, and I just want you to answer when it applies to you. It won't be long, but yeah, I would like you to just interact with me for a minute. Are you ready? Yeah? All All right. If you felt like an imposter, clap your hands. If you felt like an imposter, clap your hands. If you felt like an imposter, but somehow you're still there. If you felt like an imposter, clap your hands. Nice. So you pretty much all clapped, right? Okay. It's hard to see. I have a big light on my face, but I will just assume that it was consistent. Okay, second round. You ready? Just clap if it applies to you, please. If you didn't know that concept, clap your hands. If you didn't know that concept, clap your hands. If you didn't know the name, but you really felt the pain. If you didn't know the concept, clap your hands. Okay, so lots of you actually knew about imposter experience. All right. Another one? If you want to hear the next part, clap your hands. Thank you, let's go, move on. Okay, the moment you've been waiting for, the practical bit that I advertised in that title. Fine, I'll tell you. But disclaimer, I have to tell you, I have used all of these and I still feel shitty sometimes. Because it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, and you will feel like this at different times in your life, no matter what. You know, it will come back, like I said, depending on your context. And sometimes the best answer is not from you, but from your context, you know. Sometimes it's better to just leave. Okay, so we just start with the very basic analysis of, is it me or is it shitty around here? And yeah, you're at work, you don't feel good. Do you even know what you're supposed to do? Do you have good communication with your team and your management? Do you have a very specific job description that you can refer to when you're in doubt if that is your role or not? Do you have goals? Are they realistic? Can you actually achieve them? Do you have someone helping you achieve these goals? All of that is, you know, there are like red flags. If you don't feel good, but you don't have all of these, then no, it's not in your head. It's maybe that you need to change something at work, and not only you, but the way you are treated. Is this feeling always coming back? Or is it just when you start a new project, a new tech, like we said, some situations make you more vulnerable? So is it always or is it sometimes, you know? Is it linked to someone in particular? Because if you're feeling insecure with only that one person, spoiler alert, it's not you, it's that person. So it's not imposter syndrome, right? Do you get regular feedback? Do you know that people actually enjoy your work, or is it always negative, you know? Do you feel like you don't deserve the praise when you get it? Like we said, do you have praise and feel like, nah, I did nothing, I don't deserve it, it wasn't a good work? Or do you enjoy sometimes those achievements? Those are just questions to start deciding if it's just a bad context or actually imposter syndrome. And to go further, Dr. Clance actually created a test that you can take online. It's available, I put it in my sources, it's very easy. And she created that Clance imposter phenomenon scale. So you can actually scale how much you suffer from that imposter syndrome, and that might help you just, you know, get a grip and see where you're at. Then, of course, we're in a very competitive field. There are tons of conferences with very extraordinary people that do amazing stuff. And so, of course, you will compare your work with their work, and that's not healthy. The internet stars are not the only talented people, and you all know that. You always have this colleague that is not even on social network, and he's like a great expert, or she's the leading voice in her field, and you know, it's just, it doesn't mean anything. Being famous is not a token of quality. It doesn't say anything about that person. You may be impressed because they have a large audience and they are telling you stuff, but, you know, it doesn't mean that they are better than you. Not at all. And by the way, there's a reason we work in teams, you know? You cannot know everything. It's just logic. And so they don't know everything either. And that's why we have difference in profiles, different backgrounds, seniority, etc. So, you know, diversity is just a good thing for teams, and that's how you can get better results. So, yeah, accept that others don't know everything either. Like we said, you know what you don't know, you know what you know, but you don't know what's going on in their head. So just stop assuming that they know everything that you don't. You don't know. Yeah, I love this sentence. So, for example, I shamelessly stole this too. Sorry for the quality, but yeah, I stole it. So I took it from an article from Aurélie Vache. She's also a French developer, and she has talked about this subject for way longer than me, and she inspired me for this, actually. So I think that's easy to read. You see only what you know, and you think that what you know, everybody knows. That's not true. That's not true. Even junior people, they teach you stuff sometimes, just by when they ask the right questions. And they give you a new outlook on things, and you know you can learn from juniors. So why would other people feel any less about you, right? And that's when it gets interesting to actually talk to other people, you know? If you admire someone, just ask them, what's your background? Where did you go? Did you go to college? What did you do? How did you end up here in this position where I admire you so much and feel like you know everything? And how hard was it for you? And that might actually make you see that, yeah, it was not easy for them to get there. And maybe you can get inspired and just pick some stuff from all these people that challenge you. And you know, maybe it will just help you grow and say, oh, you took that certification. Interesting. I've never heard of it. I will prepare for it myself. And oh, you learn so much doing that. Of course, if you feel like you are very bad at one specific field, it makes sense to work on this specific field. I mean, it's pretty obvious. I'm not telling you something revolutionary here. But, you know, sometimes you just need to hear it. So let's say you're not comfortable with tests, all right? I'm not saying that because I'm not comfortable with tests, just a random example. So target what you feel like your weakness is, and do you have to do it all the time? Do you feel bad every time you have to do it? So, okay, if you have to do that every week and it makes you feel bad every time, maybe that's the priority here. You need to work on that first, because when it gets easier, then you will feel better. That's just as simple as that. So if they expect you to write tests for every feature, of course, it's a good idea to just work a little extra on that, so it becomes just natural to you. So, of course, you cannot work on everything. So if you're a junior and you're watching me and you're like, yeah, but I suck at everything. Yeah, we all start somewhere. Just pick something that will help you on your daily basis, but don't try and learn everything, because then you won't see any progress. You will learn just a little bit of everything, and it won't make any difference in your daily life. So choose one topic, stick to it, really delve in it, and don't stay on the surface. Try to actually get some knowledge, some expertise. Of course, it will take time, but if you just start somewhere, you will see really quickly some really visible results. So maybe you can even find something of a niche and be recognized for it. Like I found Drupal. Nobody cares about it, but I love it. And, people know I'm the Drupal girl. So it's nice to have something that's yours. Split. You all know that. When they give you that feature at work and you're like, yeah, that's 2 weeks worth of work, you split it in technical tasks, right? Do the same for yourself. Okay, you want to learn about tests? Split it out and the mountain won't seem so tall then. You have little steps and it's not so stressful. And track your progress. Because if you work and you never see the results, that's disheartening and you will just stop caring altogether. So just do it for yourself. You don't care. Keep, notebook, anything, a blog, whatever. And after a while, you will realize, yeah, maybe I don't feel so shitty about this subject anymore. But it's taking time. I have no magical solution, I'm sorry. And now I will tell you something completely opposite to what I just said. Try working on something completely different. And I mean completely different. So you can realize you are still able to learn new things, that you are not done, that you can still be efficient and learn some new skills. So you can choose to go for something that will help you at work, even though it's not your main focus, like, a new language or learn about accessibility. What about eco-conception? You want to go greener, learn about that. Why not? Or better communication skills. You can always improve. And that will help you and build up your resume. Or you can just go way outside of work and decide, okay, I need something for me, and I will do something like with my hands, like pottery or gardening. You're coding and it's just completely abstract every day. And you just do that bit of gardening. At the end, there's something tangible that you can see that you've created, and you don't think about work. You're focused on doing that task, and that will help you. Because you will see progress when you start a new activity. You see your progress very fast. Whereas when you're very good at something or on an advanced level, it takes way more time to see progress because you've reached that plateau. So go for something new, enjoy, and see that you actually are good at something. And don't put any stress on it. There's nothing at stake. You're doing that for you, just for you. So I feel like I'm still telling you pretty obvious stuff, but every time I talk about it, people are like, oh yeah, maybe I can talk about this to someone. Yeah, 70% of people. So, they will get what you mean. Go ahead. Don't stay alone. Just tell your team how you feel. If you trust them and you feel like maybe they will understand, tell them, sometimes I feel like I don't belong here. I don't know why you picked me. I feel like you are so much better than me at this and that. And they will maybe be very surprised to hear that. Find your community. If you're like me, and you're a woman, and there are not many of us, I went in Women in Tech Network, and that helped me a lot because they could relate and say, yeah, I'm the only woman in my team too, but I'm doing this and that, and I know that I belong here. Oh yeah, you're right. Of course I belong here. And just having people that have the same challenges that you face to support you, it's great. And sometimes it's very much easier to talk to people where there are no strings attached. If you talk to your teammates and you don't feel very comfortable, you might feel like you will get judged, or maybe your job will be in danger. So, it can be another way to actually talk, but don't take any risks. And just ask for, their feelings. Like, do you like working with me? sometimes you just need to hear it, and sometimes, think about it. How often do you tell your colleagues that you actually enjoy them? And maybe they're struggling, and just telling them from time to time, I really like that work that you did there. It really helped me. That will change the day, right? You might enjoy it when you receive it, so give it. Sharing is caring. Oh, wow, so cliche. But, I mean, here I am sharing with you my tips. If you help others, you stop focusing on yourself, and it's actually when you do your best work. That's my opinion. Because when you have to explain something to others, you have to be sure that you actually know what you're talking about. So it gives you a good reason to actually, reassess, read more, delve into the topic. And of course, you can make a really big difference in someone else's life, more junior than you when they are starting. It will make you feel good, and it will help them. So it's a win-win, really. And you can do just that. Try and become a speaker or write articles. My first article on my blog is about my electrical standing desk. Wow, such technicality. But it's the question that I've been asked repeatedly on Twitter every time someone mentions that. Like, oh, I think she has one, and I still explain the same stuff. So I just put it all in a blog, put it out there, and it was done. It made me feel better. And I was like, yeah, I have a blog. I'm a dev with a blog. It's not talking about dev yet, but I will get there. So, start something and just go with the flow. Knowing that it has a name. Someone told me, oh, so you mean I'm normal? Everybody feels that? Oh, I thought I was like crazy or something. Yeah, no. It has a name. We all feel it. That's fine. And one guy even told me, yeah, I've had it for 20 years. I just ignore it and I live my life. I was like, dude, you're awesome. You don't even have to treat it. Just if you can ignore it and go, go. You don't have to do anything to remove it if you don't want to. Your choice. But honestly, sometimes it's just too big for you. If you've been suffering and you don't see how you can get out of it on your own, go with professionals. You can find mentoring, coaching that will help you. If what you want is to get better technically, then there are lots of people out there to help you, right? Private classes or just a training, certification, whatever. And if it's just about your mental health, go see a professional. There's no shame in that. And it might make a big difference in your daily life. Usually, it's associated with other trauma or mental health issues. And if you solve those ones, your imposter experience will decrease. And so, there's no shame in asking for help. And if it's about your context, like I said, just leave. We have a great market for jobs at the moment. So don't stay in a bad situation if you cannot change the context and you won't change yourself. So just leave. And we have actually no time for questions. That was a trick, because I always go overboard. So thank you very much for listening to my rambling. If you do have questions, though, I will be available anytime. You will find me. Like I said, we're like not so many women. Thank you very much.